41 billion emails sent, 694 million SMS messages sent, and 869 million push notifications. So a lot of substance and a lot of kind of confidence based off this massive data set. Email is for like being kind of long form and gives you scale. SMS is really kind of high urgency, and push is urgency and also visibility. So there's no reason that you shouldn't double down on the ones you have and just add the new ones.
Always keep collecting new subscribers. Any channel to use at checkout, pop-ups, it's super, super important. Use SMS and use push notifications.
All three channels together, essentially. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I want to go ahead and kick this thing off and get to the meat and potatoes and why you're here to learn, absolutely learn and do a lot of things. I've got some great people here. So today, we are going to kick this thing off with a lot of data, a tremendous amount of data, actually.
From the open to the click, they're the masters of the flow. Just watch your list grow and your leads turn to gold. Did we retain you so far, or do we have to extend it? If you want results, you know you gotta send it. Yeah, you know you gotta send it. Yeah, you know you gotta send it. Yeah, you know you gotta send it.
So I want to kick this thing off, and I'll just first off and quickly introduce myself. For those that don't know who I am, my name is Jimmy Kim, 17 years in email experience, digital marketing, e-commerce. I've been a brand owner. I've been a SaaS founder. I've done a little bit of everything, and I run and operate this show here. We do podcasts. We do a lot of other things. But here's the important people on this stage here today. So Chase, I want to start off by introducing Chase Diamond. Who doesn't know who Chase Diamond is? Yeah, that's what I thought. So do we really need an introduction for you?
No, let's move on.
No. Chase, please introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. Excited to be here. My name's Chase. I'm a self-proclaimed email marketing nerd. I'm a partner at Structured Agency alongside Nick, our wonderful MC, where we've done over 200 million in email revenue for our clients. I guess Jimmy added this one, but I was recently named by Shopify as a top e-com influencer to follow, so very appreciative of that. And yeah, just really excited to be here. Have been building e-commerce agencies since 2016 and even an e-commerce brand as well.
All right. And Chase came really far from Orange County to be here today, but much further to be here today is Rytis Loris here. So Rytis, I'd love to introduce you. Rytis is the co-founder and CEO of OmniSend, the title sponsor of this event, but also a great friend, a great partner, and someone we work with very deeply. So Rytis, I'd love for you to do just a light introduction to yourself.
Yeah, great to see you. Thank you. Thanks for coming. Thanks for inviting. And yeah, I'm co-founder, CEO of OmniSend, marketing automation platform. We do send emails, SMS, web push notifications. So if you're still using a platform, welcome to our booth. We'll say why it's better to switch to OmniSend. I've done various SaaS businesses, never run e-commerce myself, but served e-commerce business for quite many years. It says 10 plus, so plus is pretty significant, like more like 15 years.
Very cool. Well, guys, this is what we're going to do. We're going to talk about what happened in email and SMS so far. So Chase, what do we get here? I think this is the most important thing that we have. So Chase, I'll let you kind of share the data that we got.
Yeah, so thank you to OmniSend for providing this data. Essentially what we did and what we're going to share is we looked at about data from 150,000 plus e-commerce brands of all sizes, all industries. And we looked at data starting in January 1st of 2024, basically through today in Q3. And that database was about 41 billion emails sent. There was 694 million SMS messages sent and 869 million push notifications. So a lot of substance and a lot of kind of confidence in the data that we're going to share just based off this massive data set.
Yeah, I mean, 41 billion emails is a lot of emails. And I'm really excited to go dive into this. So we've got a bunch of graphs and charts. What I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of open up and introduce what that data is. And then I'm going to turn to Rytis and Chase and ask them their thoughts around these different data points because they are interesting. There's things around tariffs and different changes that have happened, iOS changes, and all these different things that are appearing in the big, large data set. And this is also a good way to think about validation. If you are feeling some of these things inside of your business, you may say that. Or if you're going the total opposite way, there might be a big red flag that's in your business that you may be missing, or you might be just crushing it absolutely too. So there's a lot there. So let's go ahead and kick.
Oh, yeah, probably so you're going to see some insights, but after that, you will have a QR code. So
yeah, you'll be able to download all of this. So do not take pictures of every.
Oh, no, you can still take pictures, but you should have a presentation and the raw data file as well. So you can.
Yeah, we'll give you even down to the raw data too. So we want you to have all the data because we want to equip you and arm you. So let's go ahead and kick off the first data point, which I thought was really interesting. this has been kind of an interesting, because Chase and I, we spent some time talking about this, but open rates. I know open rates are less significant these days. We've all known that, right? But the thing that we're seeing right now, and look at those trend lines, automation, which is in the pink, is declining while campaign increases are opening and going up. I'll start with you, Ritas. Thoughts? What do you think?
Why is it so? It's absolutely counterintuitive, I would say, isn't it? So I would say there are kind of two main things. Campaigns are becoming more and more personalized and more relevant. So you guys and other marketers are using more personalization inside campaigns. That was not the case in the past. So products to recommend and then AI-driven recommendations, etc. So that's one thing that people expect, that I will get more relevant message from me, etc. And in automation, opposite, like automations are still pretty basic. What we see across the market. So yeah, market is using more and more automation, different flows, but still they're not that advanced, and then they're still pretty basic. And you just launch, okay, welcome campaign. Abundant cart, of course, everyone is personalized, but it moves a bit further as well. Like, abundant checkout, it's super targeted, yeah. But if it's a browse abandonment, but basically someone just visited products but not added to the shopping basket, shopping cart, so of course the intent is lower. So those two kind of like things that in combination, I believe, brings this what we see that for is a bit yeah.
Chase, you got something to add to that?
Yeah, I got some more thoughts, but just to expand. So I think for whatever reason, campaigns are a lot more familiar and comfortable to marketers. You spend daily, weekly time working on them. So I think that campaigns are benefiting because people treat them more like experiments. People are leveraging more A/B testing. The subject lines are more timely. And I think marketers are finally figuring out segmentation. So I think that's benefiting from that. Where I think with automation, how many of you guys, and I've been guilty as well, have just set your flows and forgot about them for weeks, months, or years on end? I think that's the problem here, right? Is we just set it and forget it. And think about an individual receiving that same abandoned cart 7 times over the last 12 months. So automations are super powerful, but when you just set and forget them, I think they lose what makes them really special.
Awesome. No,
AI, like you look, so what drives open? So the trust in the brand and subject line, yes? So AI subject line generators. So that's what we see more and more users, our customers and not our customers, who have free AI subject line generator, not for our customers and for everyone. So the usage is like increasing significantly. So I believe that helps for marketers as well to write better subject lines, more catchy ones, in order to convince readers to open.
Hey there, it's Chase. Just quick 15 seconds of your time, because I have something really fun to share. Did you know that between myself and Jimmy, we have over 20 years of experience in email marketing specifically? And recently, we put our minds together and created a certification program that takes all of our knowledge to share it with you. It's called Ecom Email Certified. It's an end-to-end course and certification program that's designed to take anyone, regardless of whether you're a newbie or an experienced marketer, founder, executive, agency marketer, etc., and really teaches them everything we know about email and SMS marketing. And it really covers the full A through Z, everything from deliverability, AI, copywriting, design, strategy, you name it, we cover it. And it's loaded with over 175 modules. Yes, that's correct. We have 175 plus modules and counting. And it's 25 plus hours of education combined with quizzes and a community, all designed to educate, test, and certify you or your team members to be a full-fledged email marketer for e-commerce. And since you're listening to this pod, we really want to hook you up for your loyalty and hook you up with a $200 off coupon code of the certification. So jump over to ecomemailcertified.com. You'll find the code over there. And with that, we're now back to the pod.
I love it. All right, let's jump into the next slide here. This one's interesting. Click rates. I've heard both sides of this. Some people saying click rates are down. Some people are saying click rates are up. Well, we pulled the data to look at it, and in the automations, click rates are up, and campaigns, click rates are pretty steady. Any thoughts here?
Yeah, a couple things. So on the campaigns that bottom Q4, right? I think that makes sense. Essentially what's happening there, why it dropped, is because the send volume during Black Friday, Cyber Monday, the holiday just skyrockets. And clicks do not scale with send. So I think that is artificially lower just because of the season. And like we talked about before, I think marketers are getting better at, segmentation, creative, and offers. And I think that's why in Q3, we're starting to see the rebound. And with automations, right? Like automations are great. Like this is why automations are so important. We don't have it in this presentation, but in a previous presentation, you had showed us in the past that automations actually represent a really small percentage of overall sends, but they drive something crazy, like a third of total revenue. And the reason that they work so well is because when they're tied to behavior, people don't just open, they actually engage because they're just inherently more relevant.
Yeah, it represents around 2% of traffic of messages sent automations, but it drives like 37-ish percent of total orders. So yeah, that's a massive disproportion. What I would say here, so what is very important here that, that I think that shows the audience. So even fewer people maybe are opening, but they are clicking still. So basically, it's always with your email list, the subscriber list, you work with the most loyal ones. Yeah, and this is all very important, and in the slides we're going to attach that as well. So the relevance of your subscriber list. So you always have to keep refreshing it and always invite people to subscribe again, because usually those are the most engaged customers who open, click, and then buy, and this is the audience that you care the most about.
Yeah, I love that explanation. Let's move to the next one here. Another one that I had. This was really interesting to see. Unsubscribe rates are on the rise. Who's feeling an unsubscribe rate on the rise? Are you guys, anyone thinking about it? Yeah, I've got some hands raising here. What do you guys think? Is it more emails? What is it?
Yes, exactly. That's just more emails being sent. And then we're going to see in the other slides that, especially in campaigns. So usually that us brands, I don't know if you feel it, but on average we see, and this is like US data specifically for you guys here. So the more emails you want to send to drive the same revenue, because the revenue you get from each single campaign, it's just going slightly down this year. So that means that you need to send more emails, to send more, especially more campaigns, in order to get the same revenue. So that's natural. It's just, audience get a bit bored of if you, but look, I think those rates are still healthy. Yes, you should not be scared of. Yeah, so
it looks dramatic, but the reality is it really is flat overall.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, it's fine. I would say so. If it's something, maybe I should stop sending. Maybe I'm sending too much. So if rates is 0.62, 0.24 in campaign, so it's absolutely healthy. Everything is okay with that. So,
Chase, any thoughts?
Yeah, when I first saw this, I thought it was kind of interesting that automations actually drove more unsubscribes than campaigns. And then I think when you think about it, I think there's a couple reasons. I think number one is, how many times have you opted into a welcome series to try to just get the discount and then maybe you bail? I think that's one. I think number two, a lot of brands don't realize it, but they're having multiple automations sent to the same person at the same day or the same time, right? Like you might receive a welcome series and then an abandoned cart and then a customer thank you, right? So you just get a lot of these messages. And with both of these, with them increasing, it's really important to focus on the subscriber experience. So three kind of quick ways that I thought about to reduce unsubscribes. Quickly, number one is, personalization. Everyone talks about personalization. The reason being it's important. People want to receive relevant emails. Number two is, I don't know how many brands just send, sales email. You do need variance in what you're sending, community stuff, education stuff, etc. And then the last one, I don't know why no one does this, but you need to have a preference center. So without a preference center, you have two options. You have people staying on your list or people leaving your list. The preference center gives you the third option. People that want to be on your list, but they want to tell you, hey, I only want sales email or I only want education emails. I don't want a daily email. I want a weekly email. So that gives people the ability to stay engaged and involved without having to unsubscribe. So please do the preference center. I don't know why more people aren't doing that.
Absolutely. That was great. All right, let's jump to the next data point. This is an interesting AOV data cycle right here. So an email AOV is increasing. Now, this could be inflation just showing up on paper, but you're looking at about a year and a half ago, and an average AOV of an email automation was about $188, and now you're seeing it at $216. Thoughts? Is it inflation? What do you think?
There are a few elements, and inflation is one of the elements for sure. And on average, kind of what we see from the data, from not emails only, but the spend and revenue. So seems like in general among our customer base, the shopping cart, the average basket value is increasing a little bit, the volume of basket is decreasing. So it seems like people are buying less spontaneously, but when they buy, they make a decision, okay, this is what I want, this is what they need, this is the brand they trust. That's why it's becoming even more and more important for brands to build trust, to build relationship with customers, long-term relationship with customers, because seems like customers are willing less to buy just spontaneously. I just saw this flashy Facebook ad, boom, buying. Yeah. So if this is a brand I do not trust, if I've not bought in the past, so I will consider buying just spontaneously, and maybe I will be going to the brand I trust and I have bought in the past. I know the product, I know the quality.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, they mentioned the kind of economic part around why things are more expensive. I think the second part too, I think marketers are starting figuring out how to actually strategically increase AOV. So things like tiered discounts move the needle. The more that you spend, the more that you save. I think people are finally figuring out how to upsell and cross-sell at checkout when people are in that buying behavior. And I think people are finally figuring out how to leverage free shipping thresholds to move up the AOV. So I think part of it is there's things that are more expensive. I think marketers are getting better at strategically moving the needle.
Yeah, I really appreciate that answer too. And I think it is also, to your points, I think more people are turning to the internet because they're trusting to buy on internet, which is also possibly where we're seeing a little bit more of this data come through.
And to what Chase just said, that I would like to emphasize is, if you're not using upsell, cross-sell and checkout, etc. yet, so please start today. It's super powerful.
And we'll give a plug here because one of our sponsors in this room is Zipify. So shout out to them, the original upsell app. Way to check them out. They're out there. They're giving away some free stuff, I think, potentially. So, all right.
Hey, it's Jimmy, and I hope you're enjoying the pod so far. I want to talk to you about one of our sponsors, and it's about sales tax. Yeah, I know, nobody wants to hear about it, but here's the thing. If you're selling online, you've probably spent way too much time, money, and stress on something that should be automated. Enter Kintsugi. Pronounced kintsugi, named after the Japanese art of turning broken pottery into something beautiful and resilient. That's exactly what Kintsugi does for your tax chaos. Their AI monitors and files and optimizes your sales tax automatically across all states and jurisdictions. They even go to Canada and even to Europe as well. We're talking about saving you serious time. The average customer spends 9 hours every single month working on this. That's over 100 hours a year that you get back to focus on your actual growing business. But here's where it gets really good. No more expensive tax professionals eating onto your profits. Kintsugi AI handles compliance with a 98.3% reduction in error. That's practically bulletproof accuracy. One-click integrations with your existing platforms and systems, meaning that the setup is painless and their white glove support team has your back every step of the way. Sales tax headaches, gone forever. Consider them eliminated forever, and it's e-commerce, SaaS, and agency. Anyone who pays sales tax needs Kintsugi. And we have a very special offer for you today. If you mention Jimmy and Chase, you get 3 months completely free. That's 3 months of automated tax filings, perfect compliance, and getting your life back. Visit trykintsugi.com and mention Jimmy and Chase for a 3-month head start.
Let's go continue on here. Conversion rates. I thought this was really interesting because we're seeing a slow decline of conversion rates from the campaign, the effectiveness of it. And it's relatively flat overall, but it is slowly declining as we're kind of seeing it come down. Any high-level thoughts on this?
Yeah, I guess quickly, it's not a huge drop, but there is a decline. I think number one is send volumes up and conversions don't increase with sends. I think for two, the generic cookie cutter, mass blasts, really broad segments, they just don't work anymore, right? And then I think with that, how do you improve? It's better offers, better segmentation, and better creative. So just spending more time doing those types of things is how you actually move the needle and increase the conversion rate.
Yeah,
I would say just flat.
Yeah, it's pretty flat. And let's look at the next one, Rita. So I want to ask you about this one because we're seeing the decrease of automation conversion rates as well. And this one's a lot more significant.
Absolutely.
It is a lot higher. You guys just saw that real quick, just so you can see how big of a difference this really looks like. As Rita said, 2% of emails are automations, but make up for 37% of the revenue. It's showing up right here, but we are seeing a big decrease. Any thoughts, Rita?
Yeah, so campaigns. So basically the general message would be, market does campaigns right. Keep doing what you do. Of course, listen to Chase, to Jimmy podcast. And of course, there's so many valuable tips there. You can learn a lot and improve. But in general, more or less, it's okay with automation. So yeah, the conversion rates are going down. And basically to second what Chase already mentioned, so there are kind of more and more automations, which is good that you start doing more automations, because like 2 years ago, etc., our customer on average just used 2 automations. Yeah, there are brands that do have 10 automations, which is great. So I would say that's okay. If the fact is that you are starting doing more and more of automations, enabling new flows, and the conversion rate overall coming from automations is decreasing, that is okay. Yeah. If the enabling more flows is the main reason, and I think that's what we saw in the data. That's the main reason. So I would say that's a healthy trend and good trend. Please use more improved automation. So 2 is good. No, 2 is bad. 5 is good. 10 is better. Yeah, and 2, that means that you are potentially using the highest converting automations like abundant carts and maybe welcome flow. Those are the highest converting. And the rest is like, browse abandonment and post-purchase automations. They're not converting as good, but they are still adding revenue to your sales. And you just set up once, you review it every few months, but it does the job and earns money. So that's what I love. I don't think that this is a bad trend.
No, I'm with you on that. And I want to flip over now. You want to have anything to add to this thing, or I feel like Rias did a great job there.
Yeah, I think you did a good job. I think the last things I would say is like within flows, like the biggest levers to test outside of like creative and offers is the timing. Like for your abandonments, you should be testing everything from like 15 minutes to 2 hours. If things are performing well, consider adding additional emails. And then adding things like replenishment, loyalty, post-purchase as well are ways to have more automations working on your behalf and helping to lift this up. So that's it.
Yep. I love it. All right. I want to flip over to, we're going to talk about this real quick one more time, and then we're going to jump over to SMS. But email click to conversion. We're seeing a fall in campaigns while we're seeing it flat on automation. So this was another one that was interesting, right? The clicked to conversion. So people are clicking and the conversion that is happening. And I put a big arrow there because that's when the tariffs hit. And we saw that kind of started to kind of change some of the kind of trajectory there. So any thoughts? I'm going to start with you, Chase. Any thoughts here?
Yeah, I think the first thought I had was it was interesting to see that the click to conversions for campaign was so much higher to start with, and now they're kind of meeting more towards like an equilibrium. So I think that was interesting. Yeah, obviously things are more expensive now, so I think buyers are a lot more pick and choosy. A lot of buyers, I think, now are waiting for better discounts to see if they're coming, and they're kind of hesitating converting. And also too, like this is things that are now happening outside of the inbox. The inbox is still driving clicks, but what's happening on your website? Slow site speeds, non-optimized checkouts, way too cluttered landing pages. So I think that is part of it. And you mentioned this before, and we have this at the bottom of the slide. Campaigns are actually making just as much revenue overall because people are now sending a lot more. Conversion rate is down, but people are kind of outweighing it by sending way more. And in the data that OmniSend had, revenue is actually from campaigns as a whole up because people are having to send 2, 3, 4 campaigns instead of just the one that they did before.
Yeah. So well said. So maybe I just add one single thing. It's really linked to the increased average order value. So that's what is said already. So people are buying less. Fewer times.
Yeah, but they're spending more.
They're spending more. Yes, that's okay. But so fewer purchases. So more well thought of. Yeah. If I need it, if I trust the brand, so the order value is increasing. So I think linking those two, that's the opposite trends, but they are load balance, because what we see overall among our customer base, the more or less revenue is not growing too crazy, but it's not declining at least.
I love that. Yeah. All right. I want to jump over to SMS because SMS is starting to show some growth. And I thought this was really interesting charts. Now, again, not a huge significant one, but we saw the decline happen in Q4, and then we saw it start spiking, and we're seeing the increase click to send campaign conversion numbers that are starting to continue to increase. So SMS, the future? What do you think?
It's a nice addition. Email is still the king, but the SMS is a nice addition. And if you are not using it yet, so please start doing. And especially automation. So campaigns, and more people add SMS to automations, the better it is. Yeah, you can combine different channels, email, SMS.
A great addition. And in fact, if you look at it in the automation side, look at that, Chase. Thoughts there. The effectiveness of a SMS automation is skyrocketing.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Which we've always said, SMS is great for a automation because it's a now in time action that you can create. Chase, what do you think about this?
Yeah, and one quick thing on the campaign thing. I think the reason that it is improving on the last slide was because I think marketers are figuring out how to use SMS for campaigns. The best way to use SMS for campaigns is high urgency moments, things like back in stock, new product launches, and like the final few hours of the sale. So that's campaigns. With automations, right? Things like abandoned cart absolutely crush. And the goal here is like, how do you get more of the high urgency automations? Things like replenishment should definitely be one. Loyalty should be one. Not every email automation should be an SMS, but the high urgency one should be, because, I mean, this is a beautiful chart just increasing like that to the right.
Yeah. What I specifically would advise, because we do not use SMS for post-purchase automations, it's just super invaluable because the open rates are super high and people are engaging with SMS messages. And this is a way for you to show that you care about the customer. It just was not only for you to sell for the customer, but to care post-purchase as well. So maybe it does not convert immediately, but it builds trust. So we already covered the trust, the personal relationship, and the thought, what your brand really is related to, is very, very important. Yep.
All right, let's jump into some more SMS data here. This one's interesting. So value per text. What is the text worth? How much should you be calculating the ROI of a text message ultimately? So I wanted to break that down at a campaign level, and I think I have it at an automation level. But we'll start with this, and I'll kind of go to each of you. I'll start with the campaign. Chase, any thoughts around this? We're seeing a nice increase in campaign value of SMS. So you guys are paying like half a penny to a penny or whatever it might be for your SMS. That's your ROI numbers that we're seeing at a campaign level.
Yeah, it looks good. Obviously, Q4 spike. People are primed and ready to buy. It's kind of cooled off a bit as expected, but it's still up now versus where it was at the start of the data set. And I think it goes back to what I was saying before, is just using SMS for like the high urgency moments and being really strategic. You don't want to just send like routine SMS campaigns that don't drive revenue, because it's going to cost you. Whereas if you are really strategic about how and when you send it, product launch, last few hours of a sale, back in stock, I mean, you are going to make a lot of money as your list continues to scale and as the relevance continues to scale.
Hey there, it's Chase here. I hope you're enjoying the pod, but I want to get just 30 seconds of your time real quick to tell you about one of our sponsors who let us make this great podcast. So first, I want to start with a question for you. Do you ever find yourself staring at a blank page, waiting for inspiration to strike? Your marketing campaigns don't have to suffer when your creativity runs dry. Omnisend has recently launched their most powerful AI update yet, and it is awesome. Its AI completely transforms how you can create and send your next marketing messages. And here's really what's incredible. Their AI doesn't just write your emails, but it actually helps you write really compelling subject lines, pre-header text that are geared to increase your open rates, and ultimately build customer segments in a heartbeat. And just whisper to the AI who you're targeting, and it's going to figure out all the complex segmentation for you. So that way you have no more guessing games. But hey, wait, it gets better. Their AI writer actually now proactively suggests improvements to your copy, and it's going to adapt to your brand's unique voice and tone while following email marketing best practices. And their personalized product reminders analyzes your browsing behavior to serve up exactly what each of your customer wants and needs to see. And their campaign booster automatically resends emails to people who didn't open or engage with them, which helps lift revenue by an average of 13%. And now, with over 150,000 very happy customers already dominating their markets using Omnisend's email, SMS, and push notifications, plus they have 24/7 amazing support that actually responds fast and is very helpful, you're joining a winning team. So stop wrestling with writer's block and start letting AI do the heavy lifting for you. Visit omnisend.com and experience the future of marketing automation. Let them know that Jimmy and I sent you, and now back to the pod.
Well, let's jump over to SMS, and we saw this number, which is increasing the value. 81 cents per SMS sent is an average value of text. Thoughts, man? That's a good ROI.
But it
A
did.
good ROI where it's
Utilize
really valuable. So we just saw this at 12 times, right? 12 times roughly for a penny. Let's just pretend SMS is a penny. So you got 13 cents. But in automation, looks like that's where the star is when it comes to SMS, yeah?
Absolutely. So, add more SMS and automation. So that's my single advice here. If you did not do this, and look, so what is very important here. So one is like SMS solo automations, but the best when you used multi-channel, that you had email in the same sequence, SMS in the same sequence, and then customers choose which channels we prefer to communicate with a brand. So I think it's kind of the option for the customers to give them an option to choose which brand do they prefer is the most valuable thing. So, and maybe just even kind of one advice, this is not like with automations, but in SMS in general, use two-step subscribe forms. First step, ask for email address. Second step, ask for SMS address, phone number, like for SMS phone number. So, and even if somebody does not subscribe, because usually SMS subscription lists are smaller in comparison to email subscribes this list, but that's okay. Yeah, so you still get an email, and if someone ignores the second step, you already have them subscribe for email campaign.
That's great.
Automations.
Well, let's jump over to AOVs with SMS because I thought this was interesting too. We looked at the email side of things and you can kind of see this. And if you don't remember, it was like 213 for a campaign. So we aren't seeing the same SMS AOV. So the trust doesn't seem there, or they're going to email. What do you think, Chase?
Yeah, it's interesting. I actually think there's a third option. I think the reason why SMS automation is falling is because of what people are probably buying with it. I'm seeing a lot of conversions and purchases on like single order replenishment items from automation. So I think there's partially what you mentioned, that email, other channels, et cetera. But I also think like what people are buying in the automations are just lower cart, single type items. Whereas with campaigns, I think the reason it's driving more per order is because people are pushing things like bundles, free shipping thresholds, et cetera. So I think the way in which people are using the two are a little bit different, and it kind of shows you how much they're making as a result.
And like customer base that is using SMS more actively is a little bit different to the entire email customer base. So those are mainly being advertised a bit lower value, more spontaneous purchase, ready products with SMS. So that's when you take averages. That's what makes the difference. But overall, both channels works really well. Yeah.
Well, let's jump over to what we call the channel that everyone keeps forgetting. Push notifications. How many people are doing push notifications in here? Look at how few there are.
Very.
And we're going to show you data that shows you how much money you're leaving on the table because you're not doing push notifications. Just such a simple thought. And it's, how much does a push notification cost at OmniSend?
Nothing.
It's free. So free money being all left on the table here. I'm going to show you this. So this is the channel that people keep forgetting. Look at those open rates, solid and steady. I don't want to talk about this one because it doesn't really share anything but the kind of the open rates. But take a look at this one. This is your click to sent. How many push notifications you're sent coming up here? Let's talk about this, Ritas. Tell me about this.
But real quick, can we go back to the open?
Yeah, we can go back. Yeah.
I think the reason this happens is because if you think about a push, and a lot of people aren't using it, so essentially when you just push, it goes to someone's lock screen, right? So people are seeing it. It's there. A lot of ways it's like SMS, but like you mentioned on OmniSend, it's free. Like it has all the benefits of SMS being like high urgency, really easy to do. Like you could do it, AI could do it. Like it's so easy to create the messages, and people are looking at it. So it's like it has a really high open rate. You should be doing this.
All right, let's look at this data. Ritas, tell me about this data. We're seeing a nice push of click to send, right? And we've got the data to show you how much dollars you're going to make in a second here. But you're seeing a nice, steady, flat data point, yeah?
Yeah. So probably kind of like what is worth mentioning here, just to all of us agree, we don't need to have an app. Here we are talking about web push notifications.
Yes.
Yeah, so the one that jumps up in your browser, it can be on laptop, it can be on your mobile device, so you don't have to have an app. You're just
copying and pasting a code, right?
Yeah. It's very, very, very easy. It's kind of vast majority of browsers support those web push notifications. So this is just what Jim, you said. This is just underutilized channel. It has free money metrics. It's free money. It has all the metrics. that are really, really great, but just very few brands using it and utilizing this channel. So really encourage you to try and to use it if you do not do it yet.
Well, let's jump over to this next slide because this is going to show you the dollars per channel by campaigns, for campaigns only. So we're going to do this and then we'll do it in automations. This is what the value of each line. So blue is email, pink is text, and the other blue is push, right? The dark blue is push. So you can see the values per message here, which I think is super interesting because every one of them is producing value.
Yeah.
What do you think, Chase?
Yeah, this to me just illustrates that you need them all. I think a lot of people are worried about them cannibalizing, them competing. I think they're actually complementary. I think each of them lends itself to a different thing. Email is for like being kind of long form and gives you scale. SMS is really kind of high urgency, and push is urgency and also visibility. So I really think you need all of these, and most people probably have one or two, and there's no reason that you shouldn't double down on the ones you have and just add the new ones. So I would try to add those ASAP ahead of Q4, and if it gets pushed to Q1, that's okay too. But start doing all of this.
Regis, anything else?
Yeah.
Let's look at it in the automation side too, because I'm sure people are curious. What does it look like? Now, email is dominating on the automation side, which is kind of showing you the automation value there. But look at the dollar per text on email, SMS. But again, going back to it, look at push. Again, free money. Like, there's a lot of value there that people aren't doing literally by just adding it. Any final thoughts on that?
Yeah, so push, absolutely, we already touched this, but email is still the king and still the most preferred channel by the customers. So, it will not die anytime soon. This is probably my main takeaway here, and we see that automations. And there is another angle which is very important to mention, that still brands use email for automations way more than they use SMS.
Yeah.
And SMS still kind of what we see among our customer base, that, emails both campaigns and automations, and we already touched 2% of traffic generates 37% of orders. With SMS, it's an opposite. It's not being used enough in automation. So I think this is one of the reasons, it's just being underutilized.
Yeah, one final thing to say is when you look at all of these on a per message basis versus the last slide, all of these automations drive more per email, text, push than all of the above. So please double down. Don't set and forget these. Your homework assignment is tonight when you get to your hotel room, go run some A/B tests, go add some more automations, go add push. That's kind of the homework assignment.
Yeah. Any final thoughts as we kind of go through this we've gone through all the data here. So we've got the data here. This is how you download the data. Everyone wants to look at exactly this data. And we're not just this data, what you saw, but we have that links to the Excel of the raw data. So you can literally see an Excel and you can go play with it and flick it around too and do whatever. Or, of course, feed it to ChatGPT and kind of play with it yourself. That's what I would do, obviously. But any final thoughts before we wrap this thing up, guys?
Good luck in Q4.
Good luck in Q4.
And it really overall kind of sending more and more emails. So that's what we touched, especially in campaigns. So probably that's my couple of pieces of advice would be, first, always keep collecting and refreshing your subscriber list. Yeah, always keep collecting new subscribers. Any channels you use at checkout, pop-ups, it's super, super important. If a list is aging, the results are going down. Then you can send more, that's okay, if you keep your list fresh. That's the thing. Use SMS and use push notifications.
Use all three channels together, essentially.
Absolutely.
With that being said, guys, this is Chase Diamond, Regis Loris. Thank you guys very much for presenting this data. Thank you, OmniSend, for the data. And good luck.
Awesome.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
From the open to the click, they're the masters of the flow. Just watch your list grow and your leads turn to gold. Did we retain you so far, or do we have to extend it? If you want results, you gotta send it. Yeah, you gotta send it. Yeah, you gotta send it. Yeah, you gotta send it.